Hi guys, just a real quick show you what I've been up to. I know I have not updated anything on my page for a long time. Hello, Pirouette. She's a beginner. My friend is a beginner. She is here. Okay. Now what I'm using, I'm doing a Maschinen Krieger Pake Krote. Um, and this is it here. This is the top of it. This is the turret. And I went in with oils. That's the turret. This is the lower half of the body, as you can see. And that's been weathered up. There's a little bit more to have to go into it. Little wait to kidding. Let's go now, brother. So yeah, there's that. So what I'm working on now are the legs. And I have, again, I'm using the MIG Ammo oil brushers. And I have a variety of colors in front of me because I'm using them all, to be honest with you, just to give it some depth here and there. Let me move this a little bit here so you guys can see what I'm doing. You know what? I think this might be better if I just bring it down here so you'll be able to see exactly what I'm working on. Those are the legs. Now, on a stream on the Styrene Syndicate, I just uploaded a stream. And I was showing how I was getting that red rusty color on the foot pads here. And now I'll do the same with this one. And you know what? I think it will be better if I go. Excuse me, man. I'm just bouncing around. And I'm sorry, guys. It's been a while and my cameras are all out of whack. So I'm trying to get them all situated to where you guys can see what I'm doing. And because I'm on a Mac, I use a Mac. My Logitech, the zoom feature does not Mac doesn't support it. So I'm going to have to start doing this with my laptop again. Anyway, so now what I'm going to do is I started, as you can see, adding a little of that red in there. I went in with a little bit of this Starship filth. I went in with a little bit of black. You can see it right there, just a tiny bit. And now I'll go in, and I added some red, but I need to darken that up so that it matches that leg there. One leg is darker than the other. So I've got a little bit of that red here. So I'll put a little bit. I've got an angle brush here. I'll put a little bit here. And just like in the corners here, I'm going to work that in. And what I'm doing is I'm just dabbing at it at the moment. I'll blend it all in a second, but at the moment I'm just dabbing at it so I can move it around very lightly, not hard. Then I'll take off what's on the brush and just start to move it around to where the spots that I want it. Again, I'm using this one as a template. So I'll just lightly tap at it. Jelios, Greek Hobbies, how you doing? Thanks, Perrette. It's been a while, man. I know. I haven't done any videos in a long time. But life got in the way. But we need to start doing that again. So you see, I'm just tapping at it. Whatever excess is on it, I'll take off and just gently tap at that, and then I'll give this a minute or so to settle. Right here, there's a little bit too much. Now I'm going to start to gently blend it in. And for that, where's my blending brush? Is this it? No. Yeah, that was it. Nope, too big. Small little blending brush, and I'm just going to, in small circles, and just start to blend it all in. Again, a little tap, tap, tap. and blend it in. So that's one. I'll bring it down just a hair. I'll come in again. Get this side just with the tip of the brush. Get it in those corners. Work it down like so. And just start to move it around. If you've never used oils, don't be afraid of them. There's so much you can do with them. This is on top of an acrylic, but I seal this. Now, if you're asking what did I seal it with, you can use a variety of stuff. Some people use Future. I don't. You can use Aqua Gloss, All-Clad's Aqua Gloss. I don't know, whatever you use to seal stuff. What I use is UV from a UV spray that I buy at a Hobby Lobby. It's the Krylon satin finish, Krylon matte finish UV, and the Krylon gloss for big stuff. Little smaller figures, I use my Aqua Gloss. So, but you can, as long as you got a good, you seal that paint underneath, you can go in with the oils and then with the thinner. You just got to don't put too much thinner because then you'll eat through your gloss. So you see, I'm just working it in, darkening it up a little bit, and just gently blending it in like so. Then I'll take a clean brush and just very gently make sure that I just smooth it all out. And there it is. Now let's go in here. This little crack up in there, I want to darken that up just a touch. Like that in there. Take off whatever excess I got and just gently pull at it and then blend it. It's like so. Add a little bit more to here, right in this corner here. I don't want too much, but yeah, right there. That'll work. Make sure I got most of it off. Hey, if it works for you, Charles, by all means, brother. By all means. I try to stay away from Rust-Oleum. Some people have good results with it. I don't. So I stick with, if I'm going to use a rattle can, I stick with the Krylon because for me, it's worked the best. Now you see how that's starting to look, guys? If I can get this to focus. Come on. See how that's starting to look in there? And then right here, and as soon as you bring it up like that, you'll see the edge there, and just take your brush and there's no pressure on it. I'm just gently pulling down, and that'll smooth that little line that you just saw there. Smooth it right out. You gotta make sure you don't put your hands all over it too. And then we'll come in here. Do the same thing. Let's add some in. Make sure I bring it down a little bit. Like so. Tap, 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 tap. Clean my brush off. And then start just tapping it in there where I want it. The blending will happen like right now. Now I'll start just gently tapping at it and then pulling it down. So a little tapping and pulling it down. And then, as you can see, it starts to blend in real nice. Take my blending brush. And just, this is dry. There's nothing on it. The reason I'm using, this one has thinner on it. if I use the one with the thinner on it, it'll take off everything I just did. And I don't want that. I'll just move that around just a little bit. Make sure, like at the right here where I got the red, I don't want any of that yellow showing too much. But yeah. Take my brush again and just gently pull at it. There it is. Get this brush again over here. And then get this end right here. Bring it down. See, I don't want to cover the Starship Filth, the black, and there's a little blue in there. I don't want to cover that. I just want to accent it with the red. Thank you, Charles. This is not hard to do, guys. You guys can do this. You just got to remember that when you lay this down, don't go heavy with your oils, because oils are heavily pigmented. You don't need a lot of it. And once you lay it down, just very gently with the brush, feather it in like I'm doing here. I'm not even putting any pressure on the brush. I'm just letting the brush do all the work. I want a little of that red down here where the paint is peeling. Get a little bit on that brush, just right there in that corner. Get it up underneath here. Use my finger to take any excess off and just work it in. Take my little brush there, feather that. I'll take the brush here that I've been using to blend it all in and just gently tapping at it. Now I'll go in small little circles. Just like so. Hey, Rob. Yeah, thanks. We'll do that. This is, I didn't think about it when I was building it, but I got to be real careful because this thing is pretty fragile. If you pull at it too much, you'll end up breaking it. I'll get this corner here. Make sure I get all up inside there. Bring it down like that. While I'm at it, I'll add a little bit in there. A little bit more like down here. Some in that corner there. And as you see, right here on the edge of where that rust is at, or where it's chipped, I'll put a little bit there, a little bit here. Wipe that off, and then just gently tap at it. Now, by tapping on it, without blending it, you could give it texture when this stuff dries. It'll look like texture there. You can do it on the car. You can do it on anything. Then I'll take my blender, because I want it all over everything, and just very gently start to move it around. It's like that. Some parts will stay darker, some parts will stay lighter. I want a little bit more here and right up in here. All right, well, that's sitting. Let me go over here and start working on this. I'll tap, 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 tap. Clean that brush off, and just with the side of it, again, making sure that I follow the contours of this, and just doing a light tap on it. Make sure it's cleaned off. Take my shader and just work that in. like so. Take this guy and just very gently blend it all together. Come up here. Wrong one. Come up here, and just with the edge of that angled brush, just tap at the corners where that rust is. Just like that. Bring that over here. Need a little bit more right there. There. Need a little bit more here. And then right at the edge here. Now this I'm not too concerned about. That's going to all be blended in, but I'm gently just working it towards that black right there. It is the leg, Josh. Yes, little whittle. Apply slowly, use a very small amount of paint, and lightly brush and feather it in for blending. You're exactly right. So, again, there is no pressure on this brush. I'm just dabbing at it and moving it around to where I want it. I'll take off any excess and just tap it to where I want it. Very gently. It's easy. You guys can do this. It's not rocket science. I talk to people all the time and they tell me, I can't do that, man. That takes years. No, bull. You can do it. Anybody can do it. All right. Now, with this little blend, the dry one that doesn't have anything on, I'm just feathering it right over the top of it. It'll knock out any hard lines that are there. Make sure you don't put your fingers on it because it's still not dry. It'll be dry by tomorrow. And there's that. If I can get this stuff, get in there. Yes, sir, Manuel. Working with ammo oils. Now, here's a little. I want to highlight in there. That's yellow. So I'm just going to drop like one there. Maybe over here in that corner there. Maybe right there. Maybe here. 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 You saw that? It's just, man, it's almost like the head of a pin. That's how I'll didn't use a lot. Same thing. Just tap, 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 and then work it in. Tap, 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 tap. Work it in. Here, same thing. Tap, tap, tap. Work it in. Now I'm going to go over the whole thing with a brush in a minute. This big filbert brush. Once this is dry, I'll go in again with a little bit of the yellow just to give it a highlight where I want it. I don't want a lot of highlights. I just want a little bit. Just tap at it there. Now with this guy, just very gently. I'm pulling away from the dark. So what happens is any of this other paint that's up there is going to blend in with it. Like that. And there it is. There's both of them. That's just the feet. That's both of them. See, like with this one, I'm not liking that. So I'll just very gently, with my brush, pull away at that. There. And same thing here. Very gently. There's a big spot here that I'm not liking. So just very gently, just tapping at it and pulling. There it is. So that's the way you do it. Those are the feet. Well, that's the way I do it, at least. Oh, what's the brand? You're talking about this one? These three or these four are Master's Touch. This is a 5,000 Filbert Master Touch. These two are the same. Well, no, this one's actually a little thicker. This is a 3/0 round, which maybe let me clean that off. That's a 3/0 round. This one's a 10-0 1500 angular shader. They're all the same, Master's Touch. And this one here is a 10-0 flat shader, Master Touch. Those are the four that I'm using for this. So yeah, we got that. Those are the legs. Now let me show you what it's going to look like when it's all done. It's not finished, guys, so forgive me. I still got a lot more work to do on the legs. But let me show you at least a little bit of what it's going to look like when it's done. And then I got to figure out how to base them. I got an idea in my head for a diorama. So there's the legs. Get the head on here. I got to be careful because there's a lot of wires and stuff. See, I just broke that off, but that's okay. I got to drill a hole in that and fix it. I broke it off a couple of times. So there he is. Yeah, Bravo. I got to go in and do a little bit more work on that rust on these panels. Finish off the rest of the legs. This is, I'll go in and dirty that up just a little bit more, the motor or the engine part in the back. Do a little bit more work on the metal on these guards. And then a little bit more. I already got the front of it, but I want to put a little bit of steel showing through that. You got to have just a touch of it, man. I do have a big desk, Charles. The thing is huge. It's just full of junk. Look, that desk is huge. When I work, man, everything I use is just everywhere, you know? So, no. The color is, the yellow is Candlelight Yellow from Reaper. That's this. Or no, wait a minute. Was that the one I used? Yeah. It's this one here. Candlelight Yellow from Reaper. The red is Heraldic Red from Reaper. All airbrushed. Once that was done, I went in. Well, before I did that, I used this for texture. AK Easy Cast. That's what I put that on the turret, and I put it on the body, stippled it on there so to give it a cast look. Once that was dry, I sealed it with Stynylrez Black. Once that was sealed up, then I went in with this, the AK Easy Cast. Then I airbrushed the yellow, and then I feathered in some of that red. Once that was done, I went in and very gently, with a buffer from UMP. I went in, I buffed it just to get the high point, so you got all that stippling, and then it also helps smooth out the red that was there. Once that was done, I sealed it. I sealed it with Krylon satin, UV satin. Sealed the whole thing. Let that sit 24 hours, and now what you see on top of this all is oils. Some of those splotch marks that you see on there were done with ink through a and I wad a mini texture stencil. And then I went in and started chipping it and all that other stuff. But once I'm sorry, once I sealed the AK cast, once I had put the stylers down, I shot a hole through my airbrush, some hairspray. I forgot about that. Shot it with hairspray. Let that dry. Then I put the colors on top of it. Let that dry. And then with where's that? This brush right here. Wet it and just over the whole thing. Just so I could get some of that acrylic paint off. It gave me that weather. Went in with a UMP buffer and this. The hairspray up underneath it is great for chipping, guys. I know I'll probably catch hell from people that use MIG and AK. This is liquid hairspray. I've had this bottle for, I'm not kidding, 5 or 6 years, and it's still full. This is what I use as a chipping medium. It's great stuff. Cheap. You shoot it through your airbrush. You let it dry. You put your paint on top of it. Let that dry, and then you go over with a wet brush, and it's gorgeous. But yeah, that's where we're at with this guy. I'm going to put him on a little diorama. I suck at dioramas, guys. I really do. I got to up my game on dioramas. But I still got a lot of work left on him. I still got to paint this in here. Yeah, old school chipping, Bravo. You got that right. I still got to do the radar. I started doing this one with the weathering. I got to weather this, weather the rest of the legs, then put him off to the side and start working on the diorama. But there it is. If anybody's got any questions on how to use oils, look, guys, use them. If you don't have these, and these are out of your price range, or the Optilong, I've got all the Optilongs. If these guys are also out of your range, this stuff here, just go to your local store or on Amazon. Buy yourself a nice, it doesn't have to be an expensive set of oils. You don't even have to have an expensive set of, as you see here, all these brushes, there's not one expensive brush here. These are all Hobby Lobby brushes that I'm using. Cost me a couple of bucks a piece. And I've had them for years. I do have expensive brushes, but I won't use them on something like this. But I think the only expensive brush here is this one here from Citadel, the Stippler. But I haven't used that one today. But yeah, I also use makeup brushes. You get a good makeup brush, you can use that to dry brush. Great brushes for dry brushing. But there we have it, guys. I hope you like it. I hope you like the way it's coming out. I wanted to go with something different. I didn't want it to go with all the military colors and beat the snot. I wanted it to look worn, but I wanted it to be bright. That this is one of those that says, hey, I'm coming, dude. I'm not afraid of you. So that's why I went with the red. The reason I went with these colors here, well, number one, they go great together. But I play Call of Duty, and I have in the video game. And in one of the video games, I have a M14, I believe it is, or a Growl that's yellow, and it's got red splashed on there. And it looks really great. And I thought, that's really cool. Jello says, great, thank you. Bedtime for me. Thanks for this live. See you soon on YouTube. You guys take care. You're right, Charles. There's nothing wrong with Hobby Lobby stuff, man. You know, I use them all the time. A good 60% of the stuff I get is from Hobby Lobby, but some of the paints I get, I have to order because Hobby Lobby doesn't carry what I use. But my most of my brushes, other than my Raphaels and my Winsor Newtons and my Broken Toads, are all from, and of course the makeup brushes are all from Hobby Lobby. My clears I get from Hobby Lobby, other than my Aqua Gloss. What else? That's about it. Yeah, a lot of stuff you can get at Hobby Lobby. A lot of stuff you can't. So anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope that was informative. Guys, if you got any questions, leave a comment. You can always get a hold of me at styrenesyndicate@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to get back to you. I help a lot of people on private Facebook tutorials if that's what you want. Get a hold of me on Facebook, the Styrene Syndicate, or Red Dragon Model Works on Facebook. If you're not a member, come join us, guys. You guys have a great week. This is Gilbert. Always, as always, I say, hey, be good to your family. Love your children. Keep modeling, bros. And leave the drama to the goddamn queens. Peace, brothers, sisters.